Can you all hear me? All right, how's it going, everyone? We're going to be starting our GitHub Copilot stream in a few minutes, just to give everyone some time to take a break from that amazing Lavin MQ stream. So I guess before we begin, how many of y'all have heard of GitHub Copilot? For me, you guys will find out that I've actually been using Copilot for a long time, so it's something that I really love using, and personally, it has really expedited my workflow. So, ooh, I see a lot of people who have used it. Anyone new to Copilot? First time for me. Okay. You know, that's A-okay. Copilot is one of those tools where if you're new or old, it is an amazing tool that will expedite your workflow by a lot. So I hope y'all are excited for this. All right. I guess before we begin, can y'all let me know if the music is too high or too low? If it is, just shoot or send a quick chat and I'll adjust it. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and begin. All right. So for y'all that don't know, I'm Ryan. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. I am also a lettuce enjoyer. So if you ever see me in the Discord, I have one of those lettuce emojis. I am also the third Ryan from LH, and I have been using GitHub Copilot for over 30 months. So if you have any questions, I can answer any of them. And as a user who has used it before even becoming a coach, it is an awesome tool overall. All right, and if you guys want to add me on any socials, music too high? All right, I'll fix that. All right. If y'all want to add me on any socials, feel free to add me on LinkedIn and Instagram at LRyanLE. And yeah, let's go ahead and begin. So, for those unfamiliar with GitHub Copilot, you might be asking yourself, what is GitHub Copilot? Why would I use it? Why should I use it? We'll be answering some of those questions later in the stream. You might also be curious about how do you even set it up. For those unfamiliar with VS Code, we will be going through a walkthrough to show you how to install it and get everything working, as well as setting up GitHub Copilot. And then we'll actually apply it in a tutorial. We're going to be doing 2 of them for people, just to make sure everyone understands. So yeah, if y'all have any other questions during the workshop, feel free to just send a chat, and I will respond to it the moment I see the message. So yeah, let's go ahead and begin. So what is GitHub Copilot? For those familiar with it, you might know it as a AI pair programmer. For those unfamiliar with it, it is a magic assistant that will automatically solve all of your problems and will make your life a lot easier, especially during the 24-hour time crunches at hackathons. So if you had a hackathon where you were like 24 hours no sleep, you were cutting it to the end of the deadline, putting it very, very close, don't worry, you can actually get a 5th programmer or a 5th teammate, and that's GitHub Copilot, and it helps a lot. So some of the examples you can see here is it can actually write code, it can also fix code, and it can explain code. That's kind of the 3 different facets that you're looking for whenever you code. So it is an awesome, awesome tool, and it's based as of November 2023 on GPT-4. So for those looking for some really advanced code assistance, that's the tool for you. All right, so here's some cool statistics that GitHub has actually conducted to just understand their entire user base. So one of the coolest points I know of is 55% of people who use Copilot believe that it helps them write faster code. Think about that. Imagine being able to write faster code. Imagine not having to spend 37 hours coding when you can instead spend like 12 or 24. It helps a lot with workflow. Some cool statistics you can see on the right side is that a lot of people, the majority, get less frustrated when they code. They also feel more fulfilled, and they're able to focus on the more satisfying work rather than fixing and debugging really annoying errors. For those that use Next, I'm a Next developer. For those who get hydration errors, really, really annoying, GitHub Copilot solves a lot of that. Oh, thank you for catching that. I'm going to pin this instead. Thanks for the catch. Iceberg or romaine? I love iceberg. I think it's a lot of fun. If y'all ever see Ryan Lay, he's the second Ryan from LH, ask him about lettuce. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so overall, the entire gist is that according to research that GitHub has conducted, a lot of developers, the majority of them, feel like it is a really good tool and it helps expedite their workflow. And as myself, a person who's used it for 30 plus months, almost 3 years now, it is a really, really good tool that genuinely, I would recommend trying it, especially if you're a student, because you get it for free, because it makes coding a whole different world. All right. So moving on from this, once again, oh yeah, there's a thing on the bottom there. You can have 24 frustrating hours rather than 37 hours. I think that's a really, really funny point. Instead of spending that 37 hours you could be coding, you can condense that to 24. That's a hackathon time frame. You get almost like, what, 50% of the time? It's really awesome. So yeah. Which GPT model is Copilot? As of November 2023, it is now GPT-4. If I recall correctly, before November 2023, it was actually GitHub's own proprietary transformer model. Yeah, that sounds correct. I might also be wrong. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but I am pretty sure those are right. As a person who uses it a lot, like, I remember whenever it changed the world back then. But anywho, I'll stop rambling. All right, so let's go ahead and begin setting up GitHub Copilot. So once again, one of the biggest things that you come into, I can't speak right now. One of the biggest things you first notice is, what text editor do you use? What IDE do you use? A lot of you might have your own opinions, and I think this KCXD, XDKC, XKCD, this XKCD graphic explains it best. You can use Emacs, Vim, ED, Cat. No matter what you use, you can use it on anything. And I'll give some examples right here. So as BPNK Hacks says, it's on VS Code. It's also on the OG Visual Studios, but you can also find it on Vim, NeoVim, any of the JetBrains IDEs. So if you use IntelliJ IDEA, if you use PyCharms, any of those, as well as Zed. That's my favorite right now. You can use it on anything. You can even use it on the GitHub CLI. So if you use GH on the CLI, you can also use it there. So you can legit use it anywhere. It is an amazing tool. They continuously expand. A lot of people are adapting it into their IDEs. It is amazing. If one is learning to code, how would you balance using Copilot with learning through trial and error? That's a really good question, and honestly, it's up to personal preference. If you learn better through trial and error, then I might just try to be more wary of that and kind of just understand how you learn. For a lot of people, they need exposure. So for me, for example, I'm kind of trial and error. I'm also part exposure. So for me, finding the error and struggling is how I learn. So with GitHub Copilot, it lets you struggle if you want, but you can also have it there to show you what maybe an AI would recommend you change it to. So you can really just use it however you need to and whatever way works best. I really love the Atom shout out. So fun fact, Atom, whenever GitHub was acquired by Microsoft, it got merged into VS Code. However, some of the original software engineers made Zed. The original software engineers of Atom has made Zed. So if you're looking for an Atom alternative, would highly recommend Zed. Honestly, I'm really tempted to use it today, but I'm going to work with VS Code just so the majority of y'all can work with me on this, but would highly recommend. Codium is also really good and free. Yeah, Codium is another good alternative if you're looking for an IDE. But regardless of what IDE you use, you can use it on pretty much anything. I challenge y'all to run VS Code on a toaster and post it in the MLH chat. I will eat an entire head of iceberg lettuce if one of y'all can code on a toaster and use GitHub Copilot on it. I think that'd be so funny. So yeah, I guess if y'all have any questions, feel free to drop it in chat. But if no one has any questions, let's go ahead and download VS Code. So for those that don't have VS Code, I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes to describe what VS Code is and how GitHub Copilot interfaces with it, as well as how to install it. Is Zed available for Windows? I think it's Mac only right now, unfortunately. I think they will soon be coming out with a Windows port, but until then, Mac only, unfortunately. If you have a Mac, though, would highly recommend it. It's a really, really cool IDE. So GitHub Copilot only works with VS Code. No, it works with any IDE. Pretty much any IDE that exists can use GitHub Copilot. If it doesn't have an extension built in, you can also use it through the command line interface by using the GH command. But yeah, so once again, the next 2 minutes spent doing this. So for those that don't have VS Code or don't have an IDE that they prefer to use, I would highly recommend going to code.visualstudio.com, downloading Visual Studio Code there. You can download it, I think, on any Linux Linux distro. If not, you can also use apt-get, I think, on Linux. On Windows and Mac, they should have ports there, as well as M1 Macs versus Intel-based Macs. But yeah, some of the coolest features that you get with Visual Studio Code is you get IntelliSense, which is basically just smart completions, smart suggestions whenever you type, which helps bring a lot of definitions, type safety, stuff like that. It also has built-in Git. So if you are unfamiliar with Git commands in the CLI, you can also just use their built-in interface, which is a lot of fun. If y'all want to customize your VS Code, you can also download extensions from their massive repository of marketplace. They have an incredible amount of extensions. You're going to see whenever we run the Visual Studio Code side of things, when I'm streaming, you're going to see how many extensions I have. I have a lot. So that's going to be really, really fun. And lastly, you can also run a debugger on your VS Code instance, and that will speed up your development workflow if you use debuggers. So yeah, VS Code, an amazing tool. It is probably the most widely used IDE out there. It's a really good one if you don't have an IDE already. Move from Notepad++, move from any of that, move to VS Code. It's an awesome, awesome tool. So moving on, I'm going to be running this tutorial from the perspective of using VS Code. You can use it with any other IDE, but just know that this is going to be the one that I am running it on. I'm going to be running this tutorial twice. First time through for people that already have the GitHub Student Developer Pack, and a second time through on my own Mac for those that don't have it. So we'll have 2 sessions. If you get lost, we'll hopefully catch you on the second one, the second try of this. Okay. So once again, first try, we're going to be running this through Slideshow purely, and then we'll be moving the second time through where I will do it on my own VS Code. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P on Mac. From there, you should see a greater than symbol and a space. All you need to do is type in install extension, and then you should see something that looks like extensions, install extensions show up. Once you're there, click on that, click enter, and oh, Z for Windows. That's awesome. I love how they have an MD port, a Windows port. Awesome. We'll explain how to get the GitHub Student Developer Pack in a second. For now, we're going to try to get everyone to install the GitHub Copilot extension on their VS Code first, and then we'll move to getting the free access. So yeah, for those who haven't already, open up the command palette by hitting Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P. I'm going to be using the term command palette a lot, so for those that forget, please try to remember Command-Shift-P, Control-Shift-P, or ask in chat, and I'll say it again. Yeah, once you do that, type in install extension, and then it should open the extensions tab. You can also click on that sidebar over here. That's what I typically do. I don't use the command palette for opening extensions, but it's an easy way to get everyone there because some people have it hidden. Once you are there, search for GitHub Copilot. If you search for GitHub, it should be one of the first options, but you'll see this little man with his glasses. It's like a pilot. Really, really cool looking cool thing. If you go to in-person events, you can actually get a sticker of him. So yeah. Once you're there, click that blue button that says install. If it doesn't say install, you might have it already installed. I would look at your extensions and just check if it says installed already. Comma East. Actually, we have a different link for the GitHub Student Developer Pack. We'll be sharing that in a second. Our link will actually expedite it, expedite your access by a lot. So hold off from using that link just for now. Yeah, so once you're there, install the GitHub Copilot extension. It should be a blue button. If it's not, you might have it already installed. You can just check that sidebar over here, and it will say installed. It'll be grayed out. It's a Diglett. You know, it kind of looks like a Diglett. Yeah, okay. So once again, GitHub Copilot does cost money. It is $10 per month or $100 per year. You do get a free trial. However, if you are a student, you can actually get the GitHub Student Developer Pack, which gets you this for free. And that is like genuinely, if you don't have the GitHub Student Developer Pack, get it. It is worth it. I have had this, I think, now for 7 years. It is one of the best tools you have as a developer in school. If you don't use it, you're skamazing yourself. So get the GitHub Student Developer Pack. Would highly recommend it. And yeah, we'll actually discuss how to get it. So for those that are that already have it, please ignore the next 2 minutes of this, but I'll quickly describe how to get it. So there's 2 things you want to do before you actually get the pack, and this will immediately, like, insanely expedite your time. You can go from 3 days to 3 hours. You can go from 3 weeks to 3 hours. It really expedites how fast you get. The 2 steps are make sure that you link a .edu email to your GitHub account. If you go to GitHub settings and then account, you can actually add emails. You can have your personal and you can have a school email. If it's .edu, it expedites it by a lot. So make sure to add it. It helps a lot. This is something that I see a lot during events. Don't forget this. It helps a lot. Next is you want to enable GitHub two-factor authentication. If you go to mlh.link/github2fa, you can actually get two-factor authentication and set it up. Once you have that, that will also expedite it by a lot. Like I've seen it so many times. Legit people will get it within minutes versus getting it within like days or weeks. It changes the entire game. Make sure to do those 2 steps. I'll repeat it again. Make sure to link a .edu email to your account. You can have your .edu email and personal emails. You can add however many emails you want. After that, enable two-factor authentication. Really, really important. Once you do that, go to mlh.link/github, and that will send you to a special sign-up link specifically for y'all that will get you expedited the entire way through. So instead of going to education.github.com/pack, go to this link instead. Like it seriously changes how fast you get the pack. Sometimes people get rejected just because they don't go through this process, but this process is for y'all. Go through this process. It helps a lot. If y'all forget about this, feel free to ask in chat and I'll try to answer where I can, but I'll repeat it one last time. For those that don't have the Student Developer Pack, link a .edu email, enable two-factor authentication, and then use mlh.link/github. .edu email will be linked to my personal email GitHub account, or will have to be a different account. You can link it to your main account. You don't have to make separate emails. That's another common misconception. You don't have to make different accounts or a new account just for your education or your school email. You can link them all together. It's like IntelliJ IDEA if y'all have gotten like JetBrains, the entire JetBrains pack for free through the GitHub Student Developer Pack. Yeah, thank you, Farhamad Sami. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Thank you for posting the links. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and pin that actually. Thank you so much. All right, yeah. So while the people who don't have the Student Developer Pack gets that, we're gonna actually go ahead and continue. Hopefully we'll catch everyone getting the Developer Pack while we are going through the second round of this. Another thing to note is that if you're getting the pack, don't forget that you need to have a school ID. If it has a date, it works even faster, but you'll have to take a picture of it. Sometimes your webcam is going to be lower quality than what's needed, so I would recommend taking a photo with your actual phone, or do it through your phone and apply it to that. How can I submit it? Can you guys help me? Hello, I've completed the 11 MQ challenge. Hi, could you send a question in the Discord? I think there's a channel for questions. We can have one of our MLHers help you there. Yeah, all right, let's continue. All right, so for actually using GitHub Copilot, it's pretty simple. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna actually open VS Code, which everyone should be there. And then we're gonna clone a GitHub repository. So to do that, open up the VS Code command palette. For those that forgot, it's Command-Shift-P or Control-Shift-P if you're on Windows /Linux. Once you're there, type in clone. It might show up as like git :clone. Whatever has git and clone in the name, go ahead, select that, click enter or tab it or click it. It might ask you another follow-up question. Go ahead and just click that option and then type mlh/copilot-starter. I'll say that again because I'm talking a little bit fast just to make sure that we're on time here. Once again, open up the command palette, type in git clone or clone, and look for whatever option has the word git and clone in the same option. Once you're there, it might ask you a follow-up question. Go ahead and select whatever option it shows you, and then type mlh/copilot-starter. Once you have that, click enter, and you should go ahead and see this entire GitHub repository get cloned to your instance, your VS Code instance. All right, once you're there, go ahead and select app.py. As you can see here, we have a lot of code. For those unfamiliar with Python, that might look very scary or very unfamiliar, like what's Flask, what's an epoch. Don't worry, we'll get to that very shortly. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to explain how this code works using Copilot's explain feature. So if you anywhere in your anywhere in your IDE or in the text box of app.py, enter Control I or Command I, you can actually open up a prompt and enter /explain, and then enter that as well. Once you do that, it will actually explain to you all of the code there, which helps a lot. If it's not working, you might need to select all of the code that's in that file, then hit Control I, and then type /explain, and then it will explain to you all of the code that's there. So for those that are using a new coding language or trying to read someone's code, you can use GitHub Copilot to very, very quickly explain how the code works. If you think about it, this is a lot faster than Stack Overflow, and it's a lot faster than manually Googling this or manually typing it into ChatGPT. This is so much faster. It's all built into your IDE, and it's using GPT-4. So you don't even have to pay for GPT-4. It's awesome. All right. From there, let's actually run the code and see it in action. So if you, there's 3 ways to do this. If you open up the command palette again with Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P and type create terminal, it should show Python create terminal. Enter that. It should start creating this entire, should start running the code. If that doesn't work, try clicking the play button or drag up from the bottom of the VS Code thing, and then just type in Python app.py or Python 3 app.py, depending on if you're on a newer Mac or not. Once you do that, you need to enter the command pip install -r requirements.txt. What that's doing is it's basically going to requirements.txt, which has a list of packages in their version, and it's installing all of that into your wheels. And once you have that, you can actually start running the Python code. I'll give you all some time to do that. Once again, create a terminal, open a terminal, and then run pip install. Oh, that's awesome. I guess for those who weren't in the Love and MQ session, we'll also have another tutorial here. I guess more GitHub Copilot action for all of you. All right, next, you want to run the code. You can run the code by entering python-m flask run --debug. What this will do is it's going to run the Python program using Flask in debug mode, so you can see all the debug information. Yeah, absolutely. To open up Copilot, just enter Command I or Control I. And then it should enter a prompt. And then you can use any of the commands to interface with it. So for this example, you can use /explain. All right, from there, once again, open a terminal. Once you open a terminal, install everything based on the requirements. Once you're there, you can run the program using python-m flask run debug. If y'all are running into any issues, please let me know. I have an entire debug step here, so let me know and I can debug it with y'all. All right, so once you actually open up this link, you'll see in the bottom left, it actually tells you what it's running on. So for this example, it's running on http://127.0.0.1:5000. That :5000 might be a little bit different for you, but for the most part, for the majority of y'all, it should be 127.0.0.1:5000. Repo doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, let me get you a backup link. Give me 1 second. Okay, here is a link to the repository if you want to clone it from here. Using the link might help a little bit. But yeah. All right. Yeah, so once you get there, you can actually use that running on link and view it inside of your browser. You can actually view the Flask server that's being run. You can see here that we're getting a type error. For those that are more acquainted with Python, you might understand what this error means. For those that are unfamiliar with Python, this might seem completely unfamiliar and might look very, very scary. This traceback or the stack dump looks very scary to me. So let's say it's going to be pretty scary. But the good thing is that GitHub Copilot can fix that. What you can do is you could go back to VS Code, enter Command I or Control I, which opens up GitHub Copilot, and then you can type /fix. When you type in /fix, you're going to have something really cool pop up. You're going to actually get one of 2 fixes for this demo code. You're either going to get a typecast of string to the line 12, So it's going to, instead of return second since epoch, it's going to do return string second since epoch. You might also be getting on line 8, instead of return int epoch, it's going to do return string int epoch. So those are the two things that GitHub Copilot will probably fix here. And honestly, if like finding that error so fast, like drastically speeds up your development process. It's a really, really nice tool to have. And you can see here, it can explain code and it can fix code. So once you go there, you can actually reload your browser window and you can see now it outputs this random string. And for those that are unfamiliar with what epoch is, that random jumble of string or that jumble of numbers might mean absolutely nothing to y'all, and you might not know what that means. So the cool thing is we can actually go back to the program and have GitHub Copilot make a new route to show us, a new route to actually convert that to hours. All right, so if you go back to the program, enter Control I or Command I, and then you type in the prompt, add a route that shows hours since the epoch. Actually, is it epoch or epic? I realize I might be saying it wrong. Anywho, you can ask GitHub Copilot to actually generate you code now. So we've gone from explaining code to fixing code to now generating code. The three things you need as a developer, the trifecta. So with this, it's now going to suggest a route to you that has /hours, and it puts everything in that one route for you to use. Now, for those that are more experienced developers, especially more experienced Python developers, you might think, okay, it's not a good engineering solution to have the code that calculates the hours since epoch instead of the route itself. And to that, I say you're right. One of the biggest drawbacks with GitHub Copilot is that, like any LLM, it's going to hallucinate and it's not going to generate the most clean code or the most standard code, and because you're not giving it a prompt to tell it exactly what to do. It will infer the easiest, simplest, most intuitive answer that it can think of at the time, and it will give it to you. So what you might see here as like good code might not be the best code. Typically, you're going to want to actually abstract this hours calculation up here, like you can see with the defined second since epoch, move it up there, and then just have another return or another definition for returning the hours since epoch. So that's one of the biggest things to note when using GitHub Copilot is that it is still an LLM and an AI, and it can hallucinate and might not always give you the best solution. But to kind of be transparent here of what happens behind the scenes, whenever you're typing these commands, GitHub Copilot is going to send your code and prompt to an LLM. It's going to think about what it knows about the code and what it knows about coding in general, and it's going to try to find the code that most likely fits what you're looking for. So yeah, once again, don't forget that it's still an LLM. As an engineer, you're still going to have to make sure the solution is right. Do not forget. All right. Now, you can also, one of the coolest things that I use more often than these chat features is autocompletion. Does it have access to the entire workspace in the VS Code? Yes, it does. There are actually settings to set it to that. I'm pretty sure as of recently, like as of last year, they made it to where it is by default on your entire workspace, but I'm pretty sure. I think as of the November update when they added GPT-4. So I might be wrong. I would definitely Google to check real quick, but I'm pretty sure it has access to your entire workspace, or at least segments of it. I think you can actually tell it what parts of the workspace to look at. I might be wrong though. Anywho, pairing it with Copilot, you can actually use it for auto completion. So as you can see here, if you just type in app.route/minutes, once you type through that, it should automatically recommend you /minutes, which is awesome. From there, you can actually have it continue to write the entire completion of this route. So as you can see here, once you click new line, it's going to automatically recommend you to find minutes, which will return the minutes since epoch. You can do this with pretty much any type of code. Guys, anyone have the link to the previous session where they uploaded the 11MQ task? I'm not sure I have it. If anyone in chat has it, feel free to drop it in chat. If not, you can also check the MLH Discord. You should have it there. Yeah, and then you can use it to autocomplete code. So I'll just reiterate again. GitHub Copilot can do 4 things. It can explain code, it can fix code, it can create code, and it can autocomplete code. That is everything you need as a developer. That is like, it is the best pair programmer in the sense that for any type of problem that you have, it can help you find a solution. Now, it won't give you the solution, and you shouldn't use it as a given solution. You should use it as a suggestion to help aid in your engineering decisions. Don't let this replace you. If you let it replace you, it's going to replace you in the workforce. Make sure that it's nothing more than a co-pilot, nothing more than an assistant, nothing more than a suggestion, please. But all right, lastly, actually, for the next steps, we're going to do it all live from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and open VS Code. And let me know if y'all can see this. Y'all might not be able to see this. Let me real quickly switch my screen. All right, awesome. Let me know if y'all can see this. All right, okay. So for those that have finished the GitHub Student Developer Pack, we will now run through this one last time. So if you didn't have the chance to run through and do the demo, we'll do it all now live. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to open up the command palette. To do that, just type in Command-Shift-P or Control-Shift-P. From there, you can just type in git clone. You can see here that we have git clone right here. From there, clone from GitHub, and I can type in mlh/, actually forgot, Copilot starter. Yep. Click that, and it should automatically clone. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, I just cloned it to my VS Code, and from here I can open up app.py. From here, we're greeted with the same code as before, and all we have to do now is explain it. So let's do Command-I or Control-I, and just type in /explain. From here, it's going to explain any type of code that we select. So I'm going to go ahead and select app for it to explain. I don't know if that'll explain everything here. I'm also going to zoom in. Yeah, so it's explaining how app works. Let's say I wanted to explain this right here. So I can select that function right there, and it's going to try to provide relevant definitions. So you can see here it's explaining what epoch is. So for those who don't know, epoch is the number of seconds since January 1st, 1970 at midnight GMT. And it's explaining how the entire route works. So if you're unfamiliar with code, you can use this to explain it for you. Next, what we can do is we can actually start running the code. So if we want to open up terminal, you can do terminal, open in terminal. You can also click the play button over here, or you can drag up, which is what I normally do, and then just type in python3 app.py. Oh, I forgot to download everything. Yeah, once you open it up, like after applying for the Student Developer Pack, how much time does it take to get it? So whenever you apply for the GitHub Student Developer Pack, it should tell you immediately the estimated time frame it will take. If you add a .edu email, enable two-factor authentication, and you live in the United States, it should be pretty instant. If you live in another country but did the previous 2 steps, it should take around 3 days. If you don't do any of those steps, it should take you a long time. I'm not sure what the time frame is like now. It could be anywhere between a few weeks to a month. So if you do those 2 steps and you also use, sorry, I forgot, use our link. So mlh.link/GitHub, you should get it pretty fast. How can I recover the chat history in a document? I'm not sure GitHub Copilot stores your chat history. So I think your mileage may vary there. Is this recorded? I'm unsure. If it is, it's going to be on the MLH YouTube, or it might be in like a secret playlist. I'm not entirely sure, unfortunately. Wait, can y'all hear that background noise? I'm so sorry if y'all can hear that. All right. Anywho, you can notice here that I forgot a quick step. We have to install all of the packages. So I can just do pip install -r requirements.txt. From there, it will install everything here. And then I should just be able to run python-n class run --debug. Oh, shoot. Okay, so it's not working on my computer. My computer is a little bit wonky, so I actually have a extension for this. So if y'all have any problems with this, you might need to install an extension or use the commands. This is the easiest for me in my workflow. Another cool thing that you can use with VS Code is extensions. So it's installing the environment for me, and I can go back to app.py now and should be able to run the script. No, it's not running. That's embarrassing. Let's try running this. Okay, interesting. Let's try. Oh, it's because I'm not using Python 3. Let me try this. Python 3 app.py. That's so odd. I might have to open up the code spaces. This isn't working. 1 moment. I did not expect this to fail. Yeah, I'm saying this worked earlier. That's the weirdest part. You can see here it's also working. I'm unsure why it's not running. No module named Flask? That's so odd. Give me 1 second to do some quick debugging. If anyone here is a pro in Python, feel free to drop in a quick suggestion. I am not a Python developer, so this is a little bit new to me. Python app.py. That's what I was thinking. Python app.py. It's not working. Flask run. Oh my gosh, you're so right. Oh, I forgot to enable my virtual environment. You're so right. Both of y'all were right. Flask run did work, so yeah. Okay, let me check this real quick. Okay, I don't think that one's working. Let me try to activate this environment real quick. Oh, that's why. I just took the right version. Okay. Yeah, my my MacBook is a little bit wonky when it comes to Python versioning. It's really odd. I think it's because of the built-in Python version that Apple has on their new M1 MacBooks. But if I try running the command now, I have to open up a new terminal. Maybe that's why. I forgot to sacrifice a chicken to the demo gods. You're so right. Okay, there we go. Now let's try running the command. All right, there we go. It's working now. Yeah, my Python environment wasn't activated. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all what this looks like. Let me see if this even works. Okay, y'all might see a little bit of a wonky screen here. I'm using Sidecar, so it's a little bit janky. Let's do an entire screen now. Let's do this. All right. Let me know if y'all can see this. Okay. Okay. Sidecar based. Thank you. Love to see it. All right. So as you can see here, whenever we try running this, we're getting a type error, similar to what we saw in the presentation earlier. Bazinga. Yeah. So I mean, we know how to solve it now, especially since we've gone through the answer. However, let's pretend that we don't know what's happening right now. So let's go back into, oh, that's not it. Let's go back into VS Code. And from there, we can actually type in command I, because I'm on MacBook, and I can do /fix. Oh, I actually forgot to tell it where to /fix. Okay, let's do /fix. And I'm going to say I'm getting a type error. And let's see where it fixes it. Okay, yeah, as we can see here, it's doing one of the solutions where it's string casting. String casting was returning back. So instead of just using the raw int, it's wrapping it in a string, which will convert the int to a string. So now if I save this and I go back to here and reload, you can see now we have the correct display of the number of seconds since epoch. So let's go ahead and add some new routes to it. So let me just open up my notes real quick. Yep, let's go ahead and add some new stuff to it. Let's do add a route that shows hours since the epoch. Ask GitHub Copilot to create that, and as you can see, it adds one right here. I can go ahead. It has some wonky spacing here, but I can just go ahead, add that, save it. I can go back to our sidecar, please. I can just go to the new hours endpoint, and I can see the number of hours since epoch, or since January 1st, 1970 at midnight GMT. All right, now let's add one more route And let's have GitHub Copilot try to write out the code as autocomplete code as I write it. So I'm going to do app.wow. Already found out that I'm trying to add minutes. I can go ahead, go to a new line, tab it all in. Fun fact, if y'all ever come into the issue where you want GitHub Copilot to activate and it's not activating, if you just type in a space, like keep adding spaces or like backspacing and adding spaces, it will actually continue to resuggest. You can see here, like if I start typing new things, I can just click space to automatically activate it. That's a fun thing I've learned through the years of using it. So yeah, I can add this now, save it, go back, change it to minutes, and from here I now have the minutes since epoch. And what you saw there was Copilot essentially auto-completed any type of code I was trying to type there. I can also probably add in another app.route just to play around, and it adds days. And as you can see there, I just added 3 new routes in minutes. So I can do days now and have the number of days since epoch. So yeah, as you can see, as a developer, especially during a hackathon, you can really save a lot of time working on these edge cases without spending time on this. If you're to do this manually, you might have to actually spend the time looking up how this works, how to calculate epoch. You might have to look up how to do all the syntaxing, when instead you can learn through ChatGPT. And note how I said learn and not use. Once again, highly, highly recommend never to just copy and paste code on the internet, nor copy and paste code found or given from GitHub Copilot. The code will sometimes not be the right, like might not be clean code, might not be good code. So it's better to learn how the code is written by GitHub Copilot to expedite your workflow versus using the work it produces. So don't use it as an academic, an academic integrity weapon. Use it as a weapon to be more studious, I'll say. But yeah, as you can see there, it helps accelerate the workflow a lot. So I'm gonna go back to the slideshow real quick. One moment. Let me open it up real quick. All right, so to conclude the session, I'm gonna reiterate one more time here. GitHub Copilot does make errors. It's built on GPT-4, and just being built on any type of LLM, it's not gonna have a perfect fidelity. It's gonna fail sometimes. It's not gonna write the best code. It might write bad code. It might write some vulnerabilities because it's trained off the internet. So make sure that you understand the code it's writing and the code that you are using. And just understand also, one of the biggest things is it doesn't understand new code. So the latest library information, API information, if any of y'all are Next.js developers, I know David has a few sessions coming up in Global Hack Week, you might learn that it doesn't understand what the app router is. It barely understands it. It doesn't know anything, I think, before Next.js 12 or 13. So if you're trying to use some new stuff in Next.js 13, 14, it's not going to work. So yeah, definitely always use it with caution. You'll need to read, understand, and edit the code it produces, but you're a hacker. You'll do great. You'll understand how it works. And I'm sure all of y'all will use it correctly. So yeah, besides that, if y'all need any other, or I guess before that, yeah, if you want to add Copilot to your team, it's a fantastic extra teammate. It's your 5th teammate at a hackathon that you're allowed to have, and it genuinely expedites your workflow. At hackathons, I cannot go without using Copilot because it just saves a lot of time working on those edge cases, writing those double for loops with edge cases I don't want to think about. It worries about all the indexing bounds. It's really an amazing tool that helps catch a lot of your mistakes. But while it does catch mistakes, it can create a few mistakes. So yeah, please do be wary about that. Besides that, if y'all want any other resources, there's some additional resources here. Go to hackpack/Copilot guides or Copilot examples, or lastly, Copilot config if you want to upgrade your preferences. Besides that, I'll be here for the next 2 minutes to answer any questions y'all might have. I know the Live and MQ session before me covered this before, so hopefully y'all learned something new or enjoyed taking the time to just debug this Python program with me. Afar Ahmad Sami said, I use GitHub Copilot to add comment and frames to my code. Yes, that is a really, really good use, is commenting, or even just understanding code. So if I'm trying to read code in an open source repository I'm trying to contribute to, I might not understand how everything works. So having Copilot there to explain really, really helps me as a contributor. instances like that. Could you please link the resources in chat? Yes, will do. Give me, unless someone's faster at typing than me. Anyone faster? Beat y'all. All right, there we go. Those are the 3 links. Some of them might be a little bit janky. Yep, awesome. All right, thanks all for taking the last hour to walk through Copilot with me. If you have any questions, feel free to @ me in the MLH Discord. My name is @Ryan3 with the lettuce emoji. But unless you all have any other questions, please just use Copilot. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool tool. If you don't have the GitHub Student Developer Pack, get it if you haven't already. And please tune in for the next stream, which is getting started with Arduinos. So if you're interested in that, I would highly recommend. And it starts, I think, in 2 hours from now. So 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. But yeah. All right. Thanks, y'all. If there are no other questions, I'm going to end it here. All right. Take care. Have a great Global Hack Week.